Good morning. It's Monday. Brock's here. Say good morning, Brock.
Good morning.
He's so chipper in the mornings. Anyway, we're going to start treating some beans this afternoon, I think. My agronomist, Wade, was supposed to come up and have lunch with me last week and do some planting stuff. He couldn't make it. He got sick, something. I don't know. Anyway, he's coming today, so we've got that going on. Brock is washing plates for the bean planter right now. The corn planter plates are already done, but we have to spray them with graphite. I'll explain that later. I am assembling the list of beans to treat right now, what varieties get what treatment on them for all of my customers, and compiling them. So that's what we're working on. And another thing. So last night, Emma, Ag with Emma, posted her video from Commodity Classic. I made a guest appearance. Go check it out. Subscribe to her channel if you haven't. Thanks, Emma, for the shout out there. And let's get started. I would like to get this out of here this week. We're not really done with it, but I'd like to get it out of here. So we'll see how it goes. We are going to have to get in here to get some seed treatments out. Now that is all my inoculant. We're going to hold off on treating anything with inoculant as long as we can. But this pallet here is all seed treatment that's got to go, and that pallet there has got to go, and we might need one of those pumps there. And so, yeah, be a little difficult to get the forklift in here to get to that with the planter sitting here. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my tank. I texted the guy this morning. We'll see if I hear back from him.
There's more treatment on those than there were last year.
Is there? So Brock's cleaning our soybean plates up. These are the celled plates that go in the bean planter. And basically what we need to do is see the back here, how there's this wear pattern on there. Well, we spray these with a graphite spray lubricant, and it lubricates it so that when it's rubbing on that seal, it doesn't wear, it lubricates it. And so every year we wash them to get all the seed treatment off and then clean them up. See that? See, they're kind of dirty. And then recoat the backs of them so that they work as well as they're supposed to. Now, Deere does have a new style of plates out for that planter. They call it a Promax 64, I think. It's a 64-celled plate. I thought about upgrading to those. It may happen in the future. We're going to run these again this year, so. I do have an update for you guys with regards to my implement receiver mast, that piece that's sitting down there that we had sitting right here, and we couldn't open this door. A couple of you had suggested, why don't you put it on the front here, which I could do, and that was very much a consideration and probably what would have happened had I needed to, if we were going to use that. Hint, hint. The problem I had with doing that is, see, the way it sits on the back there's a couple of holes where it bolted down and actually was supported underneath. If I did that on the front, it's not. And not that this piece is wiggly or going to move, but it gives it that ability to flex a little bit more and with nothing underneath holding it. So I was a little skeptical about that. But what happened here is we found out that this receiver mast that we have this MGT on will work for the GPS receiver, the plate that's on the top of that. And apparently somebody who is also putting one of these on their planter but does not have this door here got that style of mast, and they wanted that style, and I want this one and not that one. And so we're just going to trade, and we're going to put another one like this over here through those two little plugged holes there, and then our GPS receiver will just be offset. We can put the measurements into the display to tell it that it is offset, so it doesn't have to be perfectly centered, and that will work perfect, and it won't be in our way. This little black platform here is an add-on. That's not factory stock, which is why, yeah, it's nice to be able to get to this tank. Not that I really ever need to get to that tank. I'm not 100% sure why that platform's there, but somebody put it there, and they did a pretty good job with it, so we're going to leave it there. And, yeah, anyway, so hopefully they'll get us that this week, and we'll get our receiver mast switched out, or put on, I guess. Spreadsheets. Everything I do is spreadsheets. So I have here the different varieties that we're going to treat, and then how many total I have bagged or untreated versus to treat, and we're just trying to total everything up and it's so that I know what varieties need what. We're going to have a lot get inoculant put on them. I better make sure that I've got enough inoculant to start with. But I always like to call my customers right before I start treating and just check in with them and say, hey, this is what we had talked about last fall. Is this still what you want? You want to add anything? You want to take anything off? That kind of stuff. All right, time to start moving and doing something here. So Brock is opening up all of these boxes. These are soybean plates for the corn planter, bowls. These are called bowls. See, it looks like a bowl. Those are plates because, well, they look like a plate. Anyway, you can see how the back of this is nicely coated in graphite. And these are all brand new, never been in the planter, so we don't need to worry about what row they go on. We'll number them once we actually do put them in the planter. But here's the corn bowls that did get run a year, and you can see that graphite is gone. So we need to paint that. And these are numbered. We also got these chemical pumps that we need to get put together with some Teflon tape or dope or something, and meters and hoses and all of that good stuff. We have 2 of them. Look what I got. Parts for our planter. It's hazy out here, Brock. Agronomist Wade has been here, so we've been going over plot plans and stuff. Brock's got our plates painted up real nice. Is that all? That's not all the bean plates, is it?
I had to put some of them away to get the corn plates out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so anyway, he's got those about done. I'm heading down to the seed warehouse because we got to drop some stuff off Wade's got, and then we're going to go sort some beans out, I think. Time to dig some seed treatment chemicals out. We're just going to grab one of these kegs for now, I think. I don't know how much a keg treats nowadays. Come on. There we go. Used to do like 12 or 1,300 units, but I don't think these go as far. All right, we've got a keg down here and one of my chemical pumps, so we're gonna cut this thing right here. You own it. $12,000 later. I don't remember exactly what this one cost. It might be a little cheaper because it's a little diluted from the last stuff. Doesn't cover as many units, but still. This is not cheap. And as soon as you cut that band, it's yours. Anyway, we're going to hook this pump up to that, and it recirculates. There's 2 ports on there. One is a withdrawal, one is a back in. There's a drop tube on the one. The other one just sprays it back in, and it recirculates and mixes that up so that everything is agitated properly before we put it in the treater. Okay, we've got them hooked up, so now we turn this valve this way. There's a little flow thing there. We want it to come from there and go back to the tank, and we turn it on. You're supposed to let that run until it turns the thing over 3 times. I'm just going to let it run until we're ready to pump it out of there. It might run for an hour. I don't know how long this is going to take. Maybe a half hour. All right, so we're going to start with some 2922s. It's a 2.9 bean. That row right there, we need 6 boxes, which is sort of a small run, but that's okay. It'll be a good one to start off with. Basically, I am trying to do just the ones that are the base treatment. The Cruiser Max Apex, no inoculant, no heads up or anything else added to them. And so we've got 6 boxes of those that need to be done. There's 6 boxes of that long row that needs to be done. There's a couple boxes of the next row over. There's several of the next one. And then I also am waiting on 2 customers to get back to me on what exactly they want put on their beans. We may add to this a little bit, so I'm trying to, yeah, it'll be fine. We're going to have lots of runs and lots of batches that we're going to run through the treater, but we're going to start with this 6. That'd be a good one, and probably all we're going to do for today, to be honest. So Brock's got our 6 boxes out. The first thing we have to do is remove the lids. We have a fancy little tool there that makes quite a mess because he's not even trying to catch them. I mean, I always try and I missed.
That's why we didn't win in basketball.
That's why.
He couldn't catch the ball and he couldn't shoot.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, so he's getting all those lids taken off. My kids love picking these things up. We'll see if that lasts this year or not. But we'll get them opened up. I'm going to stick a thermometer in one just to see what our bean temp is, because we've kept it warm in here all week. But they were cold before that, so I've got a soil thermometer we can stick in and see what it says their bean temp is. I am going through getting our treater computer set up, so I have to put in the chemicals that we were using, which in this case is easy. It's just Cruiser Max Apex and water. And so we're creating a recipe. These are the two chemicals. Pump 1 will be the Cruiser Max Apex. Pump 2 will be water. We've got to figure out our rates. And for that, I have to go back to my computer. And Syngenta has a very good seed care resource center that I can go in and tell it what I'm treating with, and it'll tell me the rates based on seed size and all that stuff. So we're going to figure that out. Here's our beans. They look pretty good. We've got some shriveled up seed coats and stuff that I don't like to see. Like, that's not great, but it was kind of the conditions last year, I think. I don't think there's anything I'm going to do about it. As long as they're not splits, then they should be okay. This isn't great. We got a greenie that kind of dried up there. And we've got a few discoloreds. That's not great. Honestly, that's not great. But we'll treat them. I don't know. I might complain about that a little bit. Green. Just a lot of shriveled up seed coats that make me wonder. All right, here is our recipe. Water, Cruiser Max Apex. Tank 1, tank 2. We need per 140K, because that's how I treat. You can do it in fluid ounces per 100 weight, or you can do it in fluid ounces per 140K. This is more accurate. This is what we use. So our water, we need set at 1.16. Our Cruiser Max Apex, we need set at 1.96. So we're going to come over here to our treater, and you can see here it is ounces per seed count unit, 1.96. and 1.16, right, Brock? Yep. Right. Okay, and that's per seed count unit, so we can change this and make it per 100 weight. I don't want that. We want seed count unit. Okay, and then we put that on auto so that it comes on with the, everything comes on at the same time. We also have our aux controls on. That's controlling our dry applicator and our secondary pump stand, which we are not using right now. We will use that when we're doing inoculant and heads up and stuff, but we are not using it right now. Yeah, so we've got water there. Actually, you know what I should do? My plan is to put water in that one later and use this one over here for my inoculant, because it will adjust automatically, where that one over there will not. It's just whatever I set it at, and the water is the least critical of all the things that we're putting on. If I put on 1.16 ounces of water per seed count unit, or 1.5, or 0.8 or 2, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference other than how wet the beans are coming out. And there's a range that we can hit here, right? So the idea is to be at between 6 and 8 fluid ounces of liquid slurry per 100 pounds of seed. Now that's going to vary how much per seed count unit based on the seed size and how much, well, based on seed size, and how much water depends on how much other stuff we're putting in. The amount of Cruiser Max Apex per 140 is always going to be the same. It's always going to be 1.96. How much per 100 weight will change based on the seed size. How much water will match that. So if you look at that 2.24 plus the 3.76, that gets us our 6. So we're on the low end of my range here. If, like I said, if that was at 1.5 or 2, we would be fine, but we're going to leave it where it is for now. We'll do it through the main treater right now, and we'll worry about this stuff here later when we need to. So anyway, so this is good, so we're going to hit save. The other thing that we need to do is put the seed variety in here, and we need to tell it how many seeds per pound are in there. So we'll pick one of our blank ones, and I'll fill all this information out. All right, so here's what I like to do. The name of it is the variety plus the last 3 of the lot number. That way I can identify it, because if we have multiple lot numbers of the same variety, I have to give them a unique name, and it helps me go back and find them later. If I treat this same lot number again, I'll know. And then we've got the variety, the full lot number, the seeds per pound at 2690. Seeds per unit is always 140,000. This calibration ratio and speed are going to change based on our calibrations. We will get to that later. The other thing in here is a minimum gate position that we can set, and I have a chart somewhere that says based on these seeds per pound what that number should be. I'm going to go and find it. Well, I had to look that sheet up in my email because I couldn't find the printed version I had, but at 2,700 seeds per pound, we're going to call it. It's supposed to be at 1,700, not the 1,600 where it was. So just helps keep the flow regulated a little bit better. So we'll get a box up here and I'll kind of explain how this treater works a little bit better. We'll show you some stuff, but we're going to hit save there. We've got to get stuff loaded up and get some treatment in there and stuff, but I'm going to set up what we're doing here. It's all still set up from wheat. Excel seeds, chemical recipe is Cruiser Max, Apex, seed type, that's my variety, GH2922-089, so then it populates all of that stuff and it's ready to go. Filled in this stuff up here, filled in everything over here, and we need to go to this, yeah, and we got to do a pump calibration. We need to dry run everything before we put stuff on it. Dry running the auger, just a little tiny bit of wheat falling out the bottom. We'll kind of do the other stuff. There's a loss in weight actuator. That's the gate that actually controls stuff. So if you look down there, that gate that moved was the actuator that controls the seed. So if I, let's change this to 100, turn our auger off because we're done with it. So now when I hit this hand button, it'll open that gate all the way up. Off. Yeah. So that all seems to be working good. There is 10,000 positions that gate can be in, which determines how fast the beans flow through it. Our atomizer is inside here. Right there, that wheel that spins, so we'll make sure that spins. It does indeed. I should get a grease gun and put a shot of grease in there. It takes 1 pump of grease every 40 hours of operation, which we have not operated it for 40 hours. Yeah, our rubber seal is off a little bit. You may have to turn this or something a little bit to get that centered just right, but okay. Our chemical pumps, we'll have to get those. We're not ready for those just yet. Aux control, we're good with that too. So should be good there. We need water and we need Cruiser Max in our tanks. We need to get them recirculating, pumping through, and then we can run our calibrations. Shoot. Go back to my internet browser there. Put my glove on because I was going to just on the bottom swipe up. Chrome there. All right, so here it should give me totals for how much that we need. Cruiser Max Apex, add this to your mixed tank and fluid ounces. 470 fluid ounces, 34 pounds. Okay, so how much is 470 ounces in gallons? Get your calculator out. 470 divided by 128.
3.67.
3.67. So we need just under 4 gallons of Cruiser Max Apex in here to treat those 6 boxes. Okay, so we've got our markings here. So 3 gallons is just above the thing. 4 gallons right there. So we're going to do that. So this has been mixing for quite a while now. So we'll go ahead and shut it off. We'll change our 3-way valve so that it comes out the handle here. And we're going to stick this in there. Get our lid out of the way. We're going to open up our valve. Hit me, Brock. Make sure our valves are all closed. They are. And this is the nice part. We don't have to measure this. Last year we were measuring all this out, filling gallon pitchers, making sure we're getting the right ratios. But we're only putting this in the tank, so we don't have to measure that precisely. We can just get it awfully darn close, doing exactly what we're doing, as long as we can see the level. We're going to try that. And the nice thing is if we get toward the end and it looks like we're in a route, we just pump a little bit more in there. So problem with those tanks is they get so stained on the inside you can't see it very good. If I held my light up to it, I'd be able to. All right, now for water, we need 279, which is just over 2 gallons. And I don't have any pitchers to rinse out or anything, so we've got a hose, and we're just filling it up. You can put plenty in there, put 3 gallons or something. Uh-oh, something's leaking. Never mind, it's Brock spilling it down the side and it's running down the tank and dripping. It's not actually leaking. All right, well, we're gonna start with the water, make sure we've got this calibrated right. So first thing we need to do is open up this, which allows the water to flow into there. See how nice it is that we can see stuff? And then these hoses have to get put in their squeeze pumps. So this is a peristaltic pump, they call it. It's basically a squeeze pump. We put that in there. And then we clamp it down. And, yeah, that should work. Where did all that red come from? Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so we got to recirculate. So we're going to turn this to recirculate. Now we're going to turn our pump on, and it should pump. Well, clearly we still had some pink somewhere in the line. Must have been in this thing or something. I don't know. No, I want it recirculating. Just leave it. I'm trying to fill all the lines, get all the air bubbles out. So it's pulling out of the tank. You can see it moving down through here, going through the pump. We're going up through our flow meter, very important there, up and back into the tank. That pink is gonna wash out of there. It'll be fine. So, and we'll let that go for a few minutes, and then we will shut it off, and we'll turn this to process calibrate, and then to calibrate, and we'll pump it out here and into our catch container. So there it comes. I just turned this pump on to recirculate. Dump it in that corner over there. Again, we'll let everything fill. Can't see it moving through that hose, but that's what we expect, so that's okay. Okay, we're ready to calibrate our water tank here. So we changed this from recirculate to process calibrate, and then we're up here at calibrate. I'm gonna jog the motor and the pump until it's pumping water right back into the tank through that hose. And then once we get that, so we know it's full right to the top, then I'll have Brock start catching it in that catch can here. So jog, tell me when it's pouring out. Okay, so we've got that off. Let it drain. Okay, then put it in your catch can. And we're gonna run a 60-second test. Start. He should end up with 15.6 ounces over a minute. We'll see what it says. This is timed and will shut itself off when it gets there. On my chemical tank here, I do have an agitator, a mixer, so I turned that on. Not that we're mixing stuff together here, so it's not super critical, but just while we're recirculating and stuff, we'll just keep everything agitated. Okay, our timer ran out. We're supposed to be at 15.6. That's pretty dang close.
Maybe 16.
15.9. It's I can see under the 16, so we're a little bit under that, but that is awfully dang close. And again, we're doing water, so it's not super critical. We want to be as close as we can, but oh, it thinks that it put 15.57. I think that's here. Let's do this. Cal tube total. We'll tell it there is 15.9. It'll update the ratio just ever so slightly. Maybe. Come on. There we go. Update ratio, and we'll run it again just to see, but we're pretty close there. Nailed it the second time. Okay, so that one's good. So we need to do pump 1 now. Let's exit this. Turn that one off. We're going to turn our agitation off because we don't want it messing stuff up. So, all right, so turn that to process calibrate and to calibrate. And we'll jog the motor, pump calibration, pump 1, jog pump motor. And you should see it come out of that tube there in just a second. Right back into the tank, which is so awesome. There it comes. Okay, so we'll turn that off, let that hose drip for a minute, and then he can start to catch it. Except for he's probably got to go.
24, 25, 26,
we should have
28.
26.44. That line is 28, so we are too heavy. That's why we calibrate. Look at that. 54 degrees. Our beans are warm. That's fantastic. Oh no, it's time for the glitter. We got to fill this thing up. There's a little bit, not much in there. I don't want to do this. So I have two different kinds here. This is the stuff we've been using in the past, and I think I'm going to dump that bag in. I got this one this year because it was a little bit cheaper per unit. I believe it is the exact same stuff, but I'm not sure. But this is really dense. Like, this box weighs 3 times what these other ones do. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of that in the treater at once, which means that one's going to make an even bigger mess. So, yeah, this is the not fun part. I'll see. I'll make Brock film this so you guys can watch me get covered in glitter.
Oh, no.
Taking that whole bag?
I'll put the whole bag in.
Oh, geez.
Is it gonna fit?
It fits. It just poofs everywhere. Oh, no.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. Good shit looks bad. Sure that's gonna fit?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. How much did you have in there before?
A bag.
No, like prior to putting this bag in.
Oh, there was nothing. There was just very little.
Well, you might have very little coming out the top too.
Oh, we can leave the bag sit.
Ah.
It's so...
Oh boy. Oh no, stop.
Spilling out.
Just leave the bag.
Okay.
Just leave the bag.
No! I hate this stuff.
Just, yep.
Okay.
Now he was blaming me for making a mess. Look at that glitter
It's just glitter.
everywhere.
We can clean it up.
Just glitter, the stuff that gets everywhere.
It's time for a box. Oh, that glitter. Oh, man. I swear I put a whole bag in there before. I don't know why that didn't fit like it's supposed to. Oh, well, not a big deal. Okay, now, we're almost ready. We're not quite ready. So we have to change all these valves from calibrate to process. Otherwise, we'll just pump it right back out our hoses, and we don't want that. And now we have to prime them. We have to get the hoses all filled all the way to our atomizer. So I have opened the valves for the hoses that we're using, and we're going to hit this prime to atomizer button, and we should, come on, be able to see that stuff start flowing. There it comes. There it comes. If I could hold my finger on the button better. That's water, and there's the chemical, and they will get up here to the mix chamber. They'll come out the top, all mixed together, and up through there, and we're good. Okay, now we can open our seed box, and they should come out red. All right, this is the first box of the year. I know better than to film this, but I'm going to do it anyway, probably. But I'm going to get her running after I'm a little more calmed down from, trying to start this up. Yeah, we just hit start and it goes. Well, we hit start setup and then we hit start because we already did all of this. There it goes. Oh, it worked! They turned red right out the gate. Oh, praise the Lord. All right, we got to make sure our glitter's running. It's on. It is. It's running. We got lots of green lights. Green lights are excellent. That means everything is dialed in rate-wise. Everything's adjusted right. Oh, it could not have gone any better for startup. That is fantastic. We may have to play with this. This is a manual adjustment. It doesn't automatically change based on seed size or anything, so we may have to play with the rate and the speed on our glitter a little bit. but we'll work on that as we go here. We'll see what these first ones look like once we get a box done. Okay. We used up enough glitter I could get the bag out of there. That first box is done. They look really nice. I'm super happy with them for the first box of the year. I mean, they're shiny, they're pretty colored, they're just exactly what we're shooting for here. They look oranger on the camera than they do in real life, but that's okay. So Brock he took the empty box from the top and put it down under the auger. He's putting another full box up there. In a minute here, we'll get 2 forklifts going. Maybe we can really crank through these and stuff. That's the idea. But basically, we pause it between loads. He needs to spread his forks out a little bit. And then we're ready to go as soon as it's up there. Here comes box number 2. Pink. Shiny pink beans. Oh, it's so awesome. Or red, but whatever. They kind of look pink. All right, we just finished our 6th box of beautiful shiny beans. I mean, look at those things. They're gorgeous. Anyway, so we are going to run a shutdown and clean out procedure because we are going to run 2 boxes of another variety. That's for a customer that's got 2 of these boxes as well, and then I can get their stuff out of here. So we kind of let the auger run empty. Go ahead and hit shutdown, Brock. Shutdown, yep. So then it's going to run for like 15 seconds. We're going to come over here. I'm going to move this little catch tray, and we're going to open that and drain all the beans out or let it clean out really well. It takes a while, but eventually that pan will be almost full by the time we get it cleaned out. You can hear them rattling around inside that auger there. So we'll get that done. He's going to get our next 2 boxes out. 2818 should be right next to those ones. And we'll clean this out, and then we'll treat the next ones. Okay, we got our treater blah, 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 blah. We got our treater cleaned out, and we put the next box up there, started treating. I added a little more chemical because we really only had just over enough for those other 6 boxes. And again, it's not super critical that we're right on, so we just pumped some more in there. We're only running 2 more here, so we don't need a lot. And we're going to run these ones through fast. Everything's going really well here, nice and smoothly. That's good. It's good, right, Brock? It's good. All right, well, that was a quick 320 units of beans through the treater today. And really half of the ones that aren't getting an octane. Although I got 3 big customers that I'm still waiting to hear exactly what they want on everything. One of them is my second biggest bean customer. One of them is the guy who I custom treat for that's got this whole row. And those are the ones that I was planning on doing today. But he hasn't told me exactly what he wants what on yet, so we'll have to figure that out. And then another guy that I'm not sure I'm actually going to treat his beans. I think he bought himself one of these, and he's going to do them himself. But I wanted to verify before we run them through the treater, you know? Okay, done. So I will leave these set overnight. The beans come out. They're just a little bit wet. Let's see, this box is the freshest. They're not terribly wet. I could touch them and would not stick to my hands. I just like to let them sit. I don't have any reason not to right now. So I'm going to let these sit overnight. Tomorrow when we come back, we will dump them back into the box that they came out of. So these beans actually came out of this box. Those beans out of this one, right? So I know that this box is 2818s. I know that this box is 2818s. Those are the last 2 we did. But this one says 2922, and so the reason that's why we dump them back, to make sure that all of our labels are right, everything's back in the box that it came out of, and I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So everything does get a label. We have to put a Cruiser Max Apex sticker in there, or a card with a seed treatment, so that we know what is put on those. And then once we get them put back into the box they came out of, we'll zip tie the lids back on, and they can go from here. So the last box, the one that's sitting over there, is an empty. That's the one we just took out of. That's the one these beans came out of. So tomorrow we'll take this box, dump it back, put the lids on, and then we'll have our first box, will be the starter box, the one that I started with today. We'll have it back to start over with some more. So the plan here is to keep treating a little bit at a time. We're going to do some we're going to do all the ones that are not using inoculant first, as much as I can, and we're going to try and get them out of here. Because here's what's going to happen is once I treat some of these, I can't really put them back in the rows or I will block all of my untreated ones. So they have to go off to the side. That's why I did these two, because those two plus two of those other ones are customers. We can sort out their corn that's over there somewhere, take that to them, get it out of here, and create some more room. I'll look at the rest of who these go to, and we can just kind of keep stuff moving here a little bit. So one of the nice things is, well, I shouldn't say nice thing, but one of the general trends is somebody that's using inoculant is probably using it on most, if not all of their beans. Somebody that's not is not using it on any of their beans. And so I can do that. I can treat all of the ones without it, get them out of here. It's not like I have to make multiple trips to a single customer doing it that way. So I did empty the treater out, the auger and everything again. I will shop vac the top off. We get just a few off up here. So for the most part, it's not too bad, but just would try and keep the cross-contamination between varieties to an absolute minimum. I do also make sure we keep good records of what we had treated, when we treated, what we put on it, lot numbers, all of that kind of stuff. The other thing that we will do is tomorrow when we're dumping those back into the box, I will get a plastic bag and we will pull a sample. These are all the ones from last year that I still have. And we'll write on there what batch number it is that corresponds to the record on there, what's on them, all of that kind of stuff. And so what variety, all of that, so that we have it just in case if somebody complains that they didn't think they got the treatment that they paid for or something, I can send that sample into the lab. We can get it analyzed and checked. I get a few of these packets every year for sending seed in to be checked. I get 5 of them a year that I can send in. I think I have to do some in order to be certified, and I have to be within a certain percentage range on the amount of treatment that's on them in order to pass and be a certified treater. I mean, I've been to lots of trainings on this stuff. I do know what I'm doing, and we're trying to do the absolute best job that I can. One of the things I like about being able to treat beans myself is that I get to control the quality and make sure that we don't have chunks of seed treatment in this beans and stuff. And that comes back to maintenance on the treater, making sure that we're cleaning it out regularly, making sure that we're getting all of the beans out of there and not having cross-contamination from that. So plus I can customize things. We can do more treatments than just the base treatment and stuff, and make sure that we put on exactly what my customers want. So we're doing a good job. We got a good start, and we got a long ways to go. We got lots of boxes to treat. All right, time for me to go home. Thanks for watching today. We're going to work on the planter a little bit tomorrow. We got that bracket to put on, and then we're going to get it out of the shop. And I think we're going to bring the anhydrous bar in. Brock's coming back. He needs something to work on. So we've already gone through that. We don't have a ton to do, but we just need to go through and maybe replace some hoses that are expired, that kind of stuff, and just look it over a little bit. So we got time. Let's get it done. We're also going to keep treating beans. Maybe deliver some beans tomorrow afternoon. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great night. I will see you again tomorrow, because that's what we do. We farm and make videos every day. See ya.